Yo, you guys know what time it is. Welcome. All things covered. Got the show on the road, coming to you live from Minnesota, home of the Minnesota Vikings, the TCO Performance Center. As you look to my right, your left, my guy Pat P. We have a jam-packed show for you guys. Outstanding guests. Pete Prisco, Harrison Hitman Smith, the head man in charge, Kevin O'Connell, Justin Jefferson. We have a jam-packed show. You don't want to miss. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're back, all things covered, coming to you live from the TCO Performance Center, home of the Minnesota Vikings. I am BMac, Bryant McFadden, here with our very own Pat P. Just finished up a nice training camp practice, getting ready for the final preseason game this weekend against the Denver Broncos. And talking about the entire training camp vibe, Pat P., what's the biggest thing you learned about this team throughout training camp practices?
Oh, man, we love one another. We love coming to work each and every day. Looking forward to the challenge that each day brings. And just trying to be better than what we were last year. You know, this team is basically coming back all together from last year, adding a couple key pieces, beefing up the edge of the defense, which I think is going to be monumental for us down the stretch of this thing. And just the continuity that we've been able to grow over the last 3 weeks has been huge, and it's definitely going to pay dividends as well.
Talking about the continuity, that was on full display last week because you had joint practices against the San Francisco 49ers. What are your feelings in regards to joint practices? Because we heard San Francisco 49ers, Brandon Ayuk, came out and said basically joint practices is a waste of time. Said he didn't get a chance to get the necessary reps. But for you, Pat P., being in the NFL for 12 years, being a part of many training camps where you've practiced against other organizations, what are your feelings in regards to joint practices?
You know, I love the joint practices because you have an opportunity to go up against a different outfit. You don't have to, see the same moves, each and every period, kind of sitting on routes, kind of understand what's coming in certain situations. So I think it's always great to have another outfit to go up against during training camp, during this time, during a time where we don't have an opportunity to play in preseason games, and also feel like you're still getting game time reps going up against a different opponent. So I loved it. I thought we got some good work out of it because we didn't have an opportunity to play into the game. And those two practices, we felt like it was worth the game. The physicality was there, the play count was there, and I think it was something that got us better those 2 days for sure.
And throughout camp, one of the common themes for you guys has been situational football. Tell the Minnesota Viking fans why you guys will be better when it comes to situational football compared to last year.
I mean, Coach, we harp on it all the time. It's something that don't go unnoticed, or not untalked about each and every single time we're in a team meeting, or even when we're in offensive defensive meetings. So situational football is very, very. We know how that margin of error is very, very little and very, very small. So we have to understand and be on our P's and Q's at all times when those situations do show up. And I believe thus far we've been knocking them out of the park. I can't wait to finally put it on display September 11th, starting that 17-week season.
You saw it on the graphic, man. Situational ball, one possession games. Minnesota, they weren't good at it, and because of that, you guys were at home during the postseason. Throughout training camp, one of the bright spots for the Minnesota Vikings has been rookie Andre Booth, right? Went down with an injury last preseason game. It seemed to be a serious injury, but of course now they're saying things should be okay. But when it comes to Andrew and that injury, when you saw it happen, what was the first thing went through your mind?
Honestly, I didn't even see it happen because I think it happened on the opposite side of the field, the opposite sideline of ours. I still don't know how significant the injury is right now, but I did see him limping around pretty bad. So, we'll see, how it goes. I don't even know what they ruled him day to day or week to week or whatever the case may be. But I know one thing: Booth is a fighter. He's a warrior, and I think he'll definitely be back. Be back. Sooner than sooner than we think.
And when you talk about the secondary play, you see Andrew there, what he was able to do throughout his time at Clemson. I felt like if he was healthy, he would have been a first-round selection. But in the first round, you guys took Lewis Seen. So what have you seen from both guys when they've been out in the grass with you guys when it comes to Andrew Booth and Lewis Seen?
Very competitive. Guys that love the game, guys that have a knack for the ball. Lewis is the guy that loves to come down here, loves the contact. Had the opportunity to see him make some great run fits against a physical downhill football club in the San Francisco 49ers. I thought Andrew's getting better on his move area, breaking cleanly within those 15 to 18 yards move area with the receivers. He just had that mentality that he's going to rip your neck off, and then that's something that you can't teach. That's either something you have or you don't.
Yeah. And when it comes to the entire team, offensively or defensively, Pat P, we know you have an eye for talent. You know how to scout things out. Nate, there are a few guys on this team that might not be on a lot of football fans' radar when it comes to having a breakout season. But from what you've been able to see, you see a potential breakout season for a few players or a player from the Minnesota Vikings.
Oh, yeah, I see a couple guys.
Who's on the Pat P watch out list?
I got to go KJ
Osborne.
Receiver. Yep. I gotta see. Kirk is. I really feel Kirk is going to have another big year. I think he has some solid seasons following the last two seasons. Having some really good solid seasons. But now I think having Coach Kev over here now, calling the plays, having a little bit of a better feel of an offensive flow of a game. I think this year can be a really big year for him.
Yeah.
Justin's been getting a lot of pub this year, but I won't be surprised, like I said, to see him as a Triple Crown. I mean, it's a lot of good things that can happen for this team. You got the Cookie Monster that can possibly run for 2K.
Ooh.
You got Adam. He's
got a lot of
Robin
weapons.
Hood.
Yeah.
He's a red zone killer.
No question. I
so
said that earlier.
Yeah, he can be a double-digit guy in the red zone when it comes down to catching the balls in the money area, in the money zone.
Anybody on the defensive side?
I'm about to go to the defense right now. I can see Z having a real big year, especially seeing what he was able to do last week against a quality offensive line.
Yeah.
Wherever you put him, wherever you lined him up at, he was just straight dominant. Daniil, Eric, Harris. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, like Coach said, we have a great mixture of veteran guys, a great mixture of leadership, guys that love the game of football, that wants to do nothing but win. When you have that great mixture, only thing is the sky's the limit for us. So we have to just go out there and prove it to ourselves that we are as good as we think we are.
So when it comes to the Pat P watch list, it's safe to say all the
whole
guys,
team.
you basically said, you kind of called out almost everybody.
Yeah.
That tells you how talented this team is. And with that being said, you talked about the rushers, man. Man, how does it feel to be? I watched you today out in practice, and then you were lined up on the same side as the Neil Hunter, and opposite you got Zadarius Smith, man. For you being in this situation, being in year 12, how do you feel knowing that quarterback got to get the ball out?
You can take a couple more chances now.
Yeah.
That's the thought process. You can take a couple more chances now, Jack, because you got two edge rushers that literally makes the quarterback just cringe when they know those guys are coming off the edge. So, I never had an opportunity to play with two, pass rushers, edge rushers that we have here in Minnesota. So I'm excited. Can't wait to see how it's going to turn out. I expect big things from those two guys, myself, Harrison Smith, Cam Dantzler, Cam Bynum, the whole gang. Strap up. Let's roll.
No question. Last question before we go to break, Pat P. For you being in year 12, have you had to make any adjustments in your game as an individual, knowing that you're part of a new scheme under Ed Donatell?
Yeah, just, opening, widening my vision, now having an opportunity.
What does that mean?
Being in a man matching concept for 10 years, pretty much in the receiver face, wherever he go, I go.
Yeah.
So my vision is very, very, small versus now playing, 7 to 8, sometimes 9 yards off. Now I can see the quarterback, the tight end, the opposite receiver on the other side of the field. So now my vision has opened up so much more wider than it did when I was up close into a receiver's face. So working the move area, really understanding how to force myself to stay in the back pedal. Because receivers hate when you stay square. So long as I can stay square and force them to run humps and run around me, I think it'll give me a better opportunity of breaking on balls. So move area and just have an opportunity to have a wider vision.
But we will see Pat Peterson lining up in people's face as well, though.
Oh, yeah, you will. But, majority of it, now in today's game is so all about condensed sets, condensed formations, because they want to be able to have free release. They want to be able to play with your eyes, and things like that. So 80% of the NFL is all based on condensed formations.
No doubt, no doubt. You heard it coming live from Pat P, year 12, talking about the adjustments he will make from his individual game plan, but he will line up and put them paws on you from time to time. Welcome back. All things covered. Like I said, the show is on the road. It's basically our home away from home. They treat us so good here in Minnesota. I love coming back. I'd rather come back in the month of August, September, and then October I might not come back. But we're here. Pat P, my guy joining me here.
Good to see you, baby.
Look at the end of the desk, man. We got the head man in charge. First-year head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, Coach Kevin O'Connell. Coach, number one, thank you for joining us. How you doing? How you feeling?
Oh, great having you guys out here. I fully expect you to be out here December 22nd, right out here on the patio here. But awesome to have you here. We got such a beautiful facility. One of our great players, obviously doing something like this. I jump at the opportunity. Proud of this guy, both for what he's been for me as a first-time head coach, but also all the other things he's got going on while still being focused on his task at hand here. Great to have you guys. Great to be with you, Pat P. And fired up, man.
No doubt.
Oh, no doubt about it, Coach. So we're going to jump right into it. What has been the best moment of camp so far for you?
Well, outside of the Gerard Johnson, Blake Prohl singing competition.
That was pretty good.
How was that? What did it sing?
Oh, man.
Go ahead, Coach.
Gerard won the championship with some Chris Stapleton. And if you think this is just like some training camp ha-ha guys singing, like people booing them off the stage, absolutely not. Blake and Gerard. I think Gerard's on Spotify. Check him out. Okay. Never thought I'd get one of those shout-outs for one of my coaches.
Tell them about the voting deal.
Yeah, and we had 3 rounds, right? First one, it was kind of like I felt like I was up there running running a contest. Give me some noise for Gerard. Give me some noise for Blake. And I felt like it was a little biased for the player, Blake Prohl, as it probably should be. So then the next one, we got the coaches all down in the front for some more noise. We might have pumped in some artificial noise. So I said, you know what, we're going technology for the final. And we went ahead and had a whole app. Players voted on their phones, and Gerard just edged out Blake. But that was one thing. But all jokes aside, when you plan your first training camp, you really think about the development of your team, your systems, offense, defense, special teams, while stressing your guys, trying to get them prepared for the physical grind of a season, but understanding we're going to need our guys, ready to go and feeling at their absolute best. How can we make these guys be prepared but have 17 Sundays or whenever we play this year where we get the best out of our guys and give them the best chance to go out and have success? And I feel like we've done that. How we've practiced, we've gotten a ton of work in. Great work with the Niners last week, and now we'll roll right into the last phase here with the Bronco game coming up while we still are getting our starters ready to go as well.
Coach, when you look at your professional coaching career in the National Football League, you've been a part of some outstanding coaches. When the coaching tree is what we all like to call it. But when you look at some of the people you've been able to learn from, most notably speaking, Sean McVay, what are some things you took away from being under Sean McVay that have led you to this opportunity here in Minnesota?
Yeah, I think, what it really validated for me was, and I'm sure Pat and you can attest to this as well, throughout your career you probably would say to yourself, man, I really like that, how Coach did that. Or it just feels like a good environment to come to work every day. The culture feels right. Maybe on some of the best teams you guys have been on, that was something that I felt from day one in Los Angeles. But then fast forward to our second year into a playoff run, and then ultimately a Super Bowl where we didn't win a game in the month of November. And right at the time where most teams and many teams in this league possibly could fall apart from the inside out, we came together stronger and were the best possible version of the Los Angeles Rams when it mattered the most in January and then on into February. So that just confirmed everything, not only about Coach McVay and what he was able to build there, but solidified my football philosophy, my culture philosophy, and let me know that it's possible to do it that way, have that player ownership from some of your great leaders like Pat. And then ultimately, I told our guys a couple times now in training camp, I'm going to be out in front with you every step of the way. We're going to hit adversity, but just know we're in this together. And it might sound like coach speak, but when you actually experience it and then you overcome adversity and win a Super Bowl, it's concrete in my mind that this is our way here. We're going to be a little bit different than we were in LA, but ultimately, that foundation, that influence, just like a lot of the influences of some of the other guys that I coached and played for are with me as well.
Where do you keep your Super Bowl ring, and how often do you look at it?
Well, I can tell you it is at my house. I'm not going to tell you where in my house.
That's fair.
But I recently had, my mom and dad in town for our first preseason game, some family that hadn't seen it yet. I literally flew out there for about 2 hours, got it, and then got back on the plane to come back. So not a lot of my loved ones and friends have seen it yet. It's really remarkable.
Yes, it is.
But as I told, our ownership, as I told Kwesi, it's great, but it's time to go, try to chase one down here.
Right.
And that's what we're here to do ultimately. And knowing how difficult it can be, you just want to make sure you got the right kind of people both in the building and guys on your team to do it with. And I feel like we definitely have that as a starting point for what's going to be our 2022 season. Now we just got to really roll through one game at a time, that ultimate cliche, but this league is too hard to be looking down the road, when you got a really good opponent from our division staring right at us September 11th.
Yeah. And Coach, what were your expectations going on the coaching circuit? Did you expect to get a job right away? Because so many first year guys going on that coaching circuit kind of have to wait a couple years. What were your expectations?
Yeah, I really had none. And I think one of the really cool things for me was I didn't really get a lot of prep time. It's not like one of those things where they give you a little tap on the shoulder during training camp and say, hey, right about December 20th or right about January 10th, we're going to talk to you about running your own team somewhere. So make sure you're ready. They don't do that. I'm sure there's a lot of coaches that have gone through the interview process before that are prepared with materials and things like that. What was great for me, if deep down inside I had any questions about me being ready or not, it was answered because I just showed up and I felt prepared because of some of those influences and the great players I've been able to be around. And then, when you get a question like, hey, what's your football philosophy? When it comes to you and you don't have to read it in a book or have it in a binder, when it comes to you naturally, that's checking one box. And then when you talk about culture and building foundations of people being in a positive environment and being the best versions of themselves, and that just comes to you as well, there's going to be many challenges, and there already have been with this job. But ultimately I felt prepared because of how prepared, even without the time to prepare for those interviews, if that makes any sense, that I ultimately felt. So that momentum from that process has led into being around great people in this building and just trying to become a better version of myself on a daily basis. Make no mistake, I'm learning things every day of how I can be better, how I could coach better, lead our coaches better. But I'm having a blast and very much looking forward to the challenge of this season.
Did you see this as the best job out there suited for your play calling or your style of play, per se?
First and foremost, I saw it as a great opportunity because of the players that were already here. Obviously, on offense and defense, you can go down the list of great experienced players that I get to coach that have been around a lot of really good football in this building and been around a lot of really good coaches, had success, dealt with some adversity. We've had a great leadership group from day one. You're a part of it, Pat. You know that. Where I thought this job was special for a lot of reasons. And then I got a chance to meet our owners and the Wolf family and just how great of a group, how supportive of a group they are. We have every resource that we need, both with our roster and obviously with this great building and our great stadium at US Bank. So, you look at that. And then the last element of that was Kwesi.
Yeah.
And knowing that deep down inside, I truly believe this. There's really not another person in this league I would want to be paired up with to kind of work side by side every day as we try to build something here.
Yeah. And talking about the personnel, Coach, you left one great receiver and you walked into another situation with another great receiver. And Leaving Cooper Kupp, now you're with Justin Jefferson. Talk us through some of the similarities you see between both pass catchers and some of the differences.
Yeah, I think, the number one thing that I think of when I think of Cooper Kupp is just, above his work ethic and all the great physical talent is his instincts to just understand the little nuances of running routes and the natural ability to just understand how to find voids and vacancies within coverages without necessarily needing to have it put on paper for him.
Yeah.
Then you pair him with a quarterback like Matthew, and their ability to connect the way they did was just, really generational. Special moment as far as Cooper's production, Matthew's ability to come in year one and run that offense the way he did. So you leave there and you think to yourself, okay, how can I recreate this? How can I develop this between Kirk and Justin and really Adam as well? Then you get here and you meet Justin and you realize, gosh, not only is he hungry to be great, he's got some of those traits. The game makes sense to him.
Yeah.
And I think that's a quality that sometimes gets underrated in this fantasy football world we live in when it's about catches and yards and touchdowns, rightly so. But the game makes sense to Justin. He wants to be great. He loves to play the game, and he works his tail off every day to do it. So all the success early on in his career doesn't surprise me. I'm just excited he's on our team, and we get to have him on our offense.
No doubt. And coming from the Rams, one thing we all know about Sean McVay, his memory is top notch, right? And I'm pretty sure you got examples of that almost daily with him.
Yeah.
But we're going to test your memory, Coach.
Okay.
We're going to test your memory. Can you name the 4 quarterbacks that were taken ahead of you in the 2008 draft?
I think I can. I think it was Joe Flacco, Matt Ryan. I want to say, was it Chad Henne and Brian Brom?
You got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
I might be able to keep going down the list, too, because I thought I was going to get drafted after those guys.
Right. Anyone else? Anyone else that you can think of?
Oh, man. I do remember John David Booty.
Yep.
Andre Woodson. There was a few others as well, but I just remember being in the line with all those guys at the combine. You guys remember getting worked all over Indianapolis,
Yes, sir.
between the medical and the evals, the interviews. I do remember, me standing there just hoping that, they didn't point me out and say, hey, we need your credential, man. It's time to go.
and Coach, talking about the quarterback, man, the most recent news coming from Minnesota, you guys made an unexpected trade for Nick Mullins coming from the Raiders. Talk about the backup quarterback position behind Kirk Cousins. What do you foresee happening in regards to that position?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that talking to Kwesi, and I give his staff and obviously Kwesi a lot of credit for, they're constantly trying to find ways of just making our roster as competitive as possible. And the quarterback position tends to get a lot of headlines, rightly so. We feel great about our starter. Kirk's had a phenomenal training camp. Pat can attest to that. Every single day getting better and better and stacking really good days on really good days. Those guys behind Kirk, both Sean and Kellen, have had really strong camps as well. Great moments here and there. But what we really felt was it's an opportunity here with 1 week left to just add an experienced player with a skill set that I think fits with what we do here. A guy that's played and been a starter in 17 games before, had a production in those games, and we can throw him in the mix with those guys and really see just how it all kind of comes together. The quarterback room is very important to me, both obviously on the field, the production we expect from all the guys that ultimately make our team, but also that room itself. That organic culture of those guys, preparing week in and week out. Those guys get in early, they stay late. Ultimately, we want a room that supports one another, supports Kirk as our starter, but at the same time, we've got, possibly 1 or 2 other guys that can make our team and be a part of it that, will help us win if called upon.
Yeah. Coach, before we let you go, we're going to transition to the superlative part of our show. Right?
Okay.
We're going to hit you with rapid-fire questions. We want your honest, unbiased answer.
Golly,
all right, Pat,
tough,
you got the first one?
I got the first one. Favorite away stadium you played or coached at?
U.S. Bank Stadium, because I technically haven't coached an official. We played our first preseason game there, but I can tell you two games there as a road opponent. It's not fun being on that sideline, but between the SKOL chant and our great fans and just everything game day atmosphere that exists here, it's now my home stadium, but I'm going to cheat that one and say that one.
All right, one thing you guys might not know about Coach or remember about Coach is that at one point in time he was a professional athlete and he went to the combine.
Yep.
His combine 40 time was a 4.61. Coach, right now, if you had to run the 40, how fast would you run?
You know what? I might not survive much past 40 yards. It might be 41, 42, 43 where the hammy blows out or the calf goes, but I think I could still break 5.
Okay.
I think so, too, because you ran 4.6 not too long ago.
I think I can still, just the long strides are helpful. Let me have a couple extra cup of coffee, a couple cups of coffee, and maybe I fire out the gates and get in the 4.9s maybe.
Is it safe to say if all the head coaches in the National Football League decided to get in the foot race, you would be first?
See, I got to think about that because
there's only one coach younger than you. That's Sean, right?
And
now.
I think Sean, I think I've literally seen him pull a calf before, covering a guy in routes on air. So I would be hedging on the fact that he's been a head coach longer than me, more stress, a little more tension in the muscles. Maybe he pulls up and I edge him at the finish. But he would probably say there's no chance that would happen.
As he should. Being a competitor.
Maybe we can organize that one.
No, that would be dope.
I do have the long strides on him.
Do you guys want to see a head coach race, a head coaching race with some of the elite head coaches in the National Football League? Let us know what you think.
I'm sure we're forgetting somebody too. You got
to look at the age, number one. Right?
Yeah,
so Sean is still the youngest, even though he seems like he's been coaching for 20 years.
Yeah, I bet Solid.
Staley,
I bet Solid could go a little bit.
Solid, but he's a big body though.
Yeah,
he might be a little stiff.
Yeah, that's right.
We got Brandon Staley with the Chargers.
Yep. Yeah. I think I got B. He's a good friend of mine.
McDaniel down in Miami?
Yeah.
He got short legs, though. I don't know how fast he can go. He might be quick.
Maybe Pat P's old guy Cliff might think he can join the mix, but he was never much of a runner. Though.
Exactly. See, you used to be a good athlete. Yeah. Some of those coaches, I don't know how they used to. And Sean played quarterback, too, though. Sean,
he did.
Yeah, Sean
ran the triple option. So.
Ran the triple, yeah.
All right, Coach.
We will all pay to see that.
Yeah. Last one before we let you go. Best thing about the Vikings fan base?
No, I think we experienced it in this stadium at our we had a night practice here. The enthusiasm walking down those steps and walking on the field felt like legitimate game day atmosphere for a night practice where we were just going to work some team drills and kind of go up and down the field a little bit. You felt that, and then that was duplicated and really multiplied at our first preseason game. A lot of times you go to those games preseason, you don't really feel the juice that you would maybe feel in an opener against a divisional opponent like we're going to have in the Packers. But our fans showed out the other night against San Fran and just made me excited for what September 11th, at 3:25 is going to be all about.
No question. I mean, I heard it's sold out already. So if you don't have a ticket, man, you might not get a ticket. But, Coach Kevin O'Connell, thank you for joining us, head coach of the Minnesota Vikings, man. Best of luck to you this season. And at what point in time will we see you hit the Griddy?
I've done it privately a couple times. It's not quite ready. My son would probably tell you my oldest can hit it pretty good, so maybe I'll let him do it one of these days.
Well, how about this? NFC Championship game at home. You guys take care of business. You're going to Glendale, Arizona. You can hit it for the guys.
I'd sign up for that right now.
So that's what we're going to do. You're going to say right here, all things covered. You win the NFC Championship game, you're doing a Griddy on camera.
I will say that as long as you promise we're right back here on the patio the week of January.
We'll do it. We can make that
outside,
happen.
Ready to roll.
I'm pretty sure CBS
staff is saying no.
I'm pretty sure CBS got a bubble jacket for all of us, Scully, scarf. If you're going to hit the Griddy and you're going to Glendale, I think we can gut out sub-degree weather, right, Pat P?
Yeah.
He's thinking about it right now.
We said it. We got to make it happen, guys. Coach, thank you once again joining us here. All things covered. Pat P, Bryant McFadden, head coach, Minnesota Vikings, Kevin O'Connell. We're back, ladies and gents. All things covered, coming to you live from the TCO Performance Center, home of the Minnesota Vikings. Here with Pat P. Just got done with a training camp practice, getting ready for the final preseason game this Saturday against the Denver Broncos. Of course, the starters won't participate. It's all about the Green Bay Packers, week 1 here in Minnesota. So I'm pretty sure Pat P and the rest of the crew defensively, they're getting ready for Aaron Rodgers.
Yep.
There's no need to scout Russell Wilson, the Denver Broncos. It's time to start watching tape on Aaron Rodgers, number 12. But before he gets there, he has to take care of some business right now in front of him. Our fans who love watching us on YouTube, love listening to us on the podcast, they showered down a whole bunch of questions in regards to Pat P. The first question we're going to tap into with you, Pat P, coming from Connors Jr. How much is left in the tank?
That's it.
That's the first question. How much is left in the tank for you?
For me?
Yeah, for you. How much is left in the tank?
I got, what was it? Connor. I believe I have a lot left in the tank. I won't put a number on it. But the body feels good, mind feels good, everything is intact, so once I always say, once I don't feel like working out, feel like coming out here practicing with my guys, it's time to hang it up. But I'm far, far, far away from feeling that way. Each and every day is a great day, a blessing to be out there with my guys and fighting for that one common goal, and that's the championship.
You got to get the Super Bowl.
Yep.
And then when he gets the Super Bowl, he can revisit this question. But right now, you're trying to get a championship, right?
No doubt about it.
All right, next question. Appreciate you, Connor, by the way. Next question coming from Joey. Did y'all have Booth pay for a rookie dinner yet, or did you let him off the hook? Number one, I know he's not off the hook, so I can answer that.
No, he's definitely ain't off the hook. And we did not have a rookie dinner just yet. We was actually thinking about doing it. Because this rookie dinner is typically at the end of the year. Just as far as like the rookie dinner night or whatever. But we will have dinners throughout the season. And he will have to pull out his credit card every once in a while, but we will not have him pay for every single dinner that we go out.
Nah, it's just going to be one dinner.
Yeah, one big dinner that he'll pay for. We'll go on a trip somewhere. We haven't decided just yet. On him. Yep. He's going to take care of our flight, food,
everything,
stay, ride from the airport, everything. Everything's going to be on him. Actually, we got two of them.
Y'all got Scene.
We got two of them.
Hey, Joey, you forgot about Lewis Scene, who was a first. So you got a first rounder.
We might have 2 trips.
And a second round. We forgot about Lewis Scene.
We might have us 2 trips, man.
He said he want to stack bodies.
Yeah.
Stack bodies. Appreciate you, Joey.
Stack bodies.
Next question we have for you, coming from Gage Fiek. I hope I said the last name right. Who is the one player you always wanted to play with but haven't yet? The one player you would love to play with.
And I haven't yet. I'm gonna have
That's a good question.
That really is a really, really good question. But I'm going to have to go with Tom Brady. I want to understand how he do it. How does Tom Brady do? And I kind of have a feeling, and kind of, being on the outside looking in, he don't do anything to hurt himself or put his team in a bad situation. But it wouldn't have hurt to be on one of those teams to at least capture one of those Super Bowl rings. But it is what it is. But that is the one player I wouldn't have, wouldn't mind playing with.
Tom Brady.
For sure.
Okay, thank you for that question. Next question is coming from Eric Johnson 754. Other than wide receiver, what offensive position do you think you could play?
I could play quarterback because I definitely do not want to play running back. Those guys take too many hits throughout the course of not even a season, of a game.
You threw a pass in Arizona too, didn't you?
I did.
Was it completed?
Yes, it was completed.
So you 1 for 1. Your passer rating is 100.
159.
Oh, you know the exact numbers. Okay. Okay.
159.3 or something like that. Actually, nope, it's not, because I threw another pass in San Francisco, and that was incomplete. So 1 for 2.
So you try your hand at quarterback.
Yeah, all right. I try my hand at quarterback.
All right, next question comes from Doughboy Trav 3. Pat, who's the best athlete you faced in South Florida, Little League or high school?
The best athlete I faced in South Florida, Little League or high school. Damn, man, that's like freaking 18 years ago.
Yeah. Could be an opposing team.
Yeah, I'm gonna say in Little League, I gotta go with my boy Bobcat. That's my guy, Brandon Burton.
Bobcat.
Yeah, that's my childhood friend.
You got to be good to have a nickname named Bobcat.
Man, we was a 1-2 punch, cat. I'm telling you what, couldn't nobody stop us. We played for the Pompano Eagles, and we used to do our thing for sure. He was number 1 and I was number 2. But in high school, man, I'm gonna have to go with Geno
Smith.
Yeah.
Miramar.
Yeah,
Went to Miramar.
Yeah.
Y'all played against Miramar?
Yeah, they tore us out the front.
They also had Stedman Bailey too.
They did.
They had quite a few guys on that team.
But Geno was by far the best quarterback that I played against in high school, because he was so pro ready now in high school. Just the way
he did numbers too.
Yeah, just the way he dropped back, the way he delivered the ball. He knew he had a very, very good understanding of the offense. It was just very, very sharp, and having an opportunity. And we played him in the rain, and he still was dropping dimes.
And so it's safe to say y'all lost that game.
Oh yeah,
you remember the score?
I don't remember the score, but I know we lost by at least 3 touchdowns because our quarterback broke his collarbone.
So why you didn't go to quarterback?
I did go to quarterback.
It wasn't ready?
I was ready, but coach, we didn't throw the ball because it was raining.
So y'all just ran.
We was pretty much running the ball.
So how they threw the ball and y'all ain't threw the ball?
Because they had a what's the name quarterback, a NFL quarterback.
Safe to say. Safe to say. Thank you for that question. Next question is coming from you, _Cheyenne. Who inspires you to be a better you?
My girls, man. My daughters, man. They truly inspire me to be a better version of me each and every day. Because at the end of the day, they're my girls. They're looking up to me to kind of get tips and reminders of their visual of what a guy, how a guy should treat them or how they supposed to be treated by a guy. So my girls are my biggest inspiration to help me keep doing what I do each and every day. So my girls for sure.
Thank you. Great answer. Great questions coming from our faithful fans. We were not able to get to everyone on this list, but we definitely will try to do so throughout the year. But thank you for those questions. Pat P, man, beautiful day. Great productive day. Got a chance to watch the Minnesota Vikings. We had outstanding guests here, all things covered. Starting off with the head coach, head man in charge. Of course, Harrison Hitman, Justin Jefferson. It was an unbelievable day as you guys get geared and ready for the season. So, Pat P, the next time we tap in with you, it's game week.
Yes, sir. Game week, baby.
It's game week.
Showtime.
You ready?
I'm ready.
We ready too. Even though I'm not putting on one helmet, one mouthpiece, but I'm ready to, Pat P. Once again, all things covered, coming to you live from the TCO Performance Center, home of the Minnesota Vikings. See you when we see you.